Welcome back to Mini-Modelog. So earlier in the week we talked about the start collecting boxes and are they worth their money, but I thought I'd also do a quick look inside and what you get sort of in these. This is a complete plastic kit and most of the start collecting sets are now plastic. Seems Games Workshop are moving towards plastics a lot more for their larger models, which is bringing down the price. I mean, when I first started playing Games Workshop games, a lot of these larger models came in metal and were quite expensive on their own. I remember when a Doom wheel was around £25. So there's been a lot of changes with how they bring models to the game now. So let's take a look inside this box. This is obviously the Skaven Pestilence. So in here is the Plague Monks, Plague Claw and Plague Furnace. As well as that though, you'll get parts for a Warp Lightning Cannon and a Screaming Bell. And the reason is these two kits come as sort of a multi-part dual kit. So you could either make a Screaming Bell or a Plague Furnace. And with this you could either make a Warp Lightning Cannon or a Claw. Now for me, I'll be making the Pestilence group as a whole, mainly because I already own a Screaming Bell and I already own 2 Warp Lightning Cannons. Yes, they're the old type, and at some point I'll show you my Skaven army and you can see that for yourself. But for now, let's take a look inside. So straight away, you'll notice a sea of plastic. And I mean, what I'll do first is get out just the Plague Claw parts to begin with. So I'll bob this to one side. Let's bob that there. So first you have one of the Plague Claw sprues. So here is basically the base work for it, as well as the claw itself and the bits for the Warp Lightning Cannon. I might use these for conversions, and I always keep whatever bits I don't use on a sprue because you never know when they might come in handy. So that's one of the main parts, and then the other part of the Plague Claw is this one. So on here you can see the counterweight for the Plague Claw and the stuff that actually goes in the claw itself there. So that's those. Next up you have your Plague Monks, and we'll take a look at those in just a minute. Let's go look at the Screaming Bell parts first. So on this one you get the main frame for the Screaming Bell. So you've got the wheels, arch bits, the parts for the ringers and things. With this one, obviously, you'll notice different things depending on how you're going to set it up. And in the instructions, I imagine it will tell you which parts to use for which setup. So that's one sprue for it. Now let's take a look at the other sprue. And in this one, you've got things like the bell parts themselves. I may use them for something else, I'm not quite sure yet. The Rat Ogre there at the bottom, which is for the Screaming Bell version. But of course, you've got the massive ball of smog for the other one, for the Plague Furnace. I mean, I might look into magnetizing these, but I really can't see it. I'm probably going to end up just making a Plague Furnace because I do have an old Screaming Bell, which is the older version, which is I think the 2nd edition Screaming Bell. So that's all the parts for those. Now I'll just show you one of the Plague Monk sprues because they're mostly the same. So on the Plague Monk sprues you get 5 bodies, a range of different heads, a range of different sort of sword arms, and then you get things like gongs and banners. And that's when you look inside the actual book, the Skaven Pestilence book, it tells you what having these how it can amplify your actual unit and give you extra attributes if you've got one of the guys with a gong in your unit. So it's something worth looking at when you come to set up units. I know I always do a banner, a gong and an icon in almost all of them. So that's the way I kind of work things, but you can do them how you want. Plus there's some rats and a few other bits and pieces to add to them if you so wish. But that is pretty much what all of them look like I say 5 bodies, and you get 4 of these sprues because obviously you've got 20 Plague Monks in the set. But that's pretty much everything inside the box. And of course at the bottom, I'll just go through what's in the bottom of the box underneath all the plastic. So you've obviously got your bases, which consist of 20 for your Plague Monks, your instructions for putting either a Warp Lightning Cannon or a Plague Claw together, your instructions for putting your Plague Monks together, your instructions for either your Plague Furnace or your Grey Seer on a Screaming Bell. Now what I'm probably going to do is with the Grey Seer is build him anyway and probably stick him on a base because it gives me another Grey Seer in my army, which is not a bad thing. So I'm probably going to make the plague furnace, like I say, and it also tells you what bits you need and all the information are in there. So don't fear about worrying about how to put these together because all the instructions are included. It also includes a little leaflet saying next steps, so next things you might need. There's obviously a Vermin Lord Corruptor, and as I said in the Start Collecting video, more Plague Monks, and of course the book, which I already own. On the back of there is a Warp Scroll Battalion, which is Squall's Pestilent Congregation. So that tells you that you need a Plague Furnace, 1 unit Plague Monks, and 1 Plague Claw, which is pretty much what you're getting in this box set. But it gives you then aptitudes, abilities in all different languages there by the look of it. So that's pretty cool that you get an extra Warp Scroll in these. I didn't realise that was the case, because obviously that Warp Scroll isn't inside the book. So it is worth buying these also for an extra Warp Scroll if you so wish. But that's my Start Collecting set. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. I'll see you next week on what have I bought this month, and I've got a few different things for you, including some Black Library bits and pieces from Black Library Day, which was actually today while I'm filming this, and I'll see you next time.